And as for Ahab the son of Omri, he became king over Israel in the 38th year of Asa, the king of Judah. And Ahab the son of Omri continued to reign over Israel and Samaria 22 years. And Ahab the son of Omri proceeded to do worse in the eyes of Jehovah than all those who were prior to him. And it came about that as if it were the most trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, he now took his wife Jezabeel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Sidonians, and began to go and serve Baal and to bow down to him.
May you have peace, Elijah, my father.
And may you too have peace, Obadiah, my son.
Have you come to Samaria with some good word for us from Jehovah?
And what good word could there be from Jehovah? Now that Ahab has become king, has he not already proceeded to do worse in the eyes of Jehovah than all those who were prior to him?
It's true, my father.
And now, as if it were the most trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, he's taken his wife Jezabeel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Sidonians, and he's begun to go and serve Baal and bow down to him.
It had been my wish that Ahab would have turned from the ways of his father Omri and served Jehovah.
You have done well as steward of the house of Ahab, and he has put his confidence in you, even though you were a worshiper of the true God Jehovah.
But I haven't made this known to him. It isn't wise in Israel to worship the true God Jehovah in the open. Nevertheless, I cannot serve the golden calves of Jeroboam and Omri, nor can I serve the god Baal of Ahab. I could not serve any other than the true God.
You are a discreet man, Obadiah. Nevertheless, take care. Jezebel is not a woman to tolerate interference, whether it be in her pursuit of the worship of the Baals or of Ashtoreth, of whom her father Ethbaal was priest.
It's true, Elijah, and I fear for our people. She loves only herself and will stop at nothing to do according to her own good pleasure.
Jehovah is not a God to be treated with disrespect. Ahab is certain to bring calamity upon himself and upon the people by unequally yoking himself with this pagan daughter of a priest of pagan gods. The word has come even into Gilead of Ahab's offensiveness with which he has offended Jehovah, the God of Israel. But see now, Ahab has just come into the valley with that false prophet Zedekiah, son of Canaanah, and another one who appears to be a court official.
Yes, it's Mattanah, court official to Ahab.
Then you must go. I have a word from Jehovah for Ahab. It isn't good that he see you with me. It would serve no purpose and might endanger your life. Go on ahead of him, and I'll wait over by the rock till he approaches.
It's well, Elijah, my father. And may Jehovah bless you.
And may he watch over those who are his own in Israel.
Even so.
Ahab, king of Israel and Samaria, turn aside, please. I have a word for you.
Who is this one who commands the king of Israel to turn aside? It's Elijah the Tishbite, from the inhabitants of Gilead. He is a prophet of the true God Jehovah. Prophet of the true God indeed.
And what is one lone prophet of Jehovah doing in Samaria?
You speak well, Ahab. Is it not because of the fornications and sorceries of Jezabeel, the wife whom you've taken from among the Sidonians, that all Israel has become offensive to Jehovah? And is not Jezebel seeking out the true prophets of Jehovah, that she may cut them off from the land?
Are you not afraid, then, to approach the king and speak defiantly in his presence?
It is not I that defies the king. It is the king who defies the Most High God.
Guard your tongue, prophet, or the king will do to you...
Elijah, what is it that you would say to the king?
Is it not enough that Jehovah has already revealed himself to your father Omri and to all the kings that preceded him? Even to Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, whom Jehovah himself made king over the 10 tribes of Israel.
You have gone far enough, prophet. It is not...
Can you not be quiet, Zedekiah? The king is able to decide whether he will
Restrain
listen
yourself,
to the prophet.
Zedekiah.
But Jeroboam began to act worse than all those who had happened to be prior to him. And he went and made for himself another god and molten images to offend Jehovah. And it is Jehovah that he casts behind his back. And when Jeroboam lay down with his fathers, and Nadab his son became king over Israel, and went on walking in the way of his father, and in his sin with which he caused Israel to sin, did not Baasha, according to the word of Jehovah's prophet Ahijah, begin to conspire against Nadab and get to strike him down and begin to reign in place of him? And as soon as Baasha became king, did he not strike down all the house of Jeroboam? And did not Jehovah speak also against Baasha on account of all the sins of Baasha and the sins of Elah his son, with which they had sinned and with which they caused Israel to sin? And did not Zimri do to Baasha and his house all that Baasha had done to Jeroboam and his house?
It was no act of God. It was the result of wicked and
Zedekiah?
violent men.
And you yourself well know, O king, that Zimri became king for just 7 days in Tirzah. And when the people had heard that Zimri had conspired and also struck down the king, then they proceeded to make your father, Omri, the chief of the army, king over all Israel on that day. And you yourself well know, O king, that Omri your father kept doing what was bad in the eyes of Jehovah, and came to do worse than all who were prior to him. And now, O king, why would you walk in the footsteps of Omri and Zimri and Elah and Baasha and Nadab and Jeroboam, against whom Jehovah rose up in his anger and annihilated because of the offenses which they committed against him, and the sins with which they caused all Israel to sin?
Enough, Elijah. I know what you say is true about those kings who preceded me, but I myself have not lifted up my hand against anyone. It is the people themselves who have turned away from Jehovah, and it is because of the people that I have made an alliance with King Ethbaal of Sidonia, and have taken to wife his daughter Jezabeel. See, I forgive you for what you have said. Go your way in peace, in order that you might not bring ostracism upon Israel.
Well spoken, O king. Return to Gilead, prophet, and
Must
speak
Jehovah
there
yet
whatever.
prove to you too, O king, that he is not a God to be treated with disrespect? As Jehovah, the God of Israel, before whom I do stand, is living, there will occur during these years neither dew nor rain, except at the order of my word. And all the springs and all the torrent valleys will dry up. The grass will wither and die, and your cattle and your sheep and your horses and your mules will have no food. And you yourself and all the people must come to know that Jehovah is the true God.
The word of Jehovah now came to Elijah, saying, Go away from here, and you must turn your way eastward, and conceal yourself at the torrent valley of Kerith, that is east of the Jordan. And it must occur that from the torrent valley you should drink, and the ravens I shall certainly command to supply you food there. Immediately he went and did according to the word of Jehovah. But it came about at the end of some days that the torrent valley became dry, because there had occurred no downpour upon the earth. The word of Jehovah now came to him, saying, Rise up, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and you must dwell there. Look, I shall certainly command there a woman, a widow, to supply you food.
How true is the saying, a prophet is without honor in his own country. Nevertheless, the ways of Jehovah are strange. Why should he send me for sustenance into the territory of Sidon, the land of Jezabeel, a wicked enemy of my people? Still, if he could keep me supplied with food these days through the ministry of the raven, why can he not move even some woman, a widow, from among the unclean people of the land of Jezebel. But are there not widows also in Israel? Yet he has sent me only to Zarephath. Ah, there's a woman, gathering sticks. I'll put her to the test. You are a woman of Zarephath?
Yes, my lord. I am a widow, and this is my only son.
Please, get me a sip of water in a vessel that I may drink.
At once, my lord.
And, please, get me a bit of bread in your hand.
My lord, as Jehovah your God is living, I have no round cake, but a handful of flour in the large jar, and a little oil in the small jar, and here I am, gathering up a few pieces of wood. And I must go in and make something for myself and my son, and we shall have to eat it and die.
Do not be afraid. Go in. Do according to your word. Only from what is there, make me a small round cake first, and you must bring it out to me. And for yourself and your son, you can make something afterward. For this is what Jehovah the God of Israel has said. The large jar of flour itself will not get exhausted, and the small jar of oil itself will not fail, until the day of Jehovah's giving a downpour upon the surface of the ground.
If you are indeed a man of the true God, then the word that you have spoken will certainly prove to be true. For I believe the God of Israel has stopped up the heavens for these many days, so that there has been no rain in all the land. So, please, rest here until I return, and I shall do according to your word.
So she went and did according to Elijah's word, and she continued to eat, she together with him and her household. And it came about after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness came to be so severe that there was no breath left in him.
What is it, my son? Why are you not in bed? Are you feeling better?
Oh, I hurt.
Oh, my son! My son, what is it? What has happened? Oh, my son, my son. Oh, no. Oh, no, my son.
How is the boy?
Oh, what have I to do with you, O man of the true God? You have come to me to bring my error to mind and to put my son to death. Oh.
Give me your son.
My son, my son.
O Jehovah, my God, is it also upon the widow with whom I am residing as an alien that you must bring injury by putting her son to death? O Jehovah, my God, please cause the soul of this child to come back within him. Nothing. Please, O Jehovah, my God, cause the soul of this child to come back within him. O Jehovah, my God, the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. Cause the soul of this child to come back within him, please. Oh, Jehovah be praised.
Oh, man of the true God, what am I doing in your rough chamber? And lying on your couch? Have I been sleeping?
It is well, my son. It is well.
I must go down at once. My mother told me not to trouble you.
It is well, my son. I brought you here.
You did? I don't remember it. Was I asleep?
Yes, my son. You were sleeping. But Jehovah has remembered you and has rewarded the faith of your mother. But come, she will be glad to see you have awakened. See, your son is alive.
Why are you crying? Don't you feel well?
Oh, my son, my son! You are indeed alive! Jehovah has remembered me for good and has restored you to me. Now, indeed, I do know that you are a man of God and that Jehovah's word in your mouth is true.
And it came about after many days that Jehovah's own word came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go, show yourself to Ahab, as I am determined to give rain upon the surface of the ground.
A little more and we shall all perish.
The famine is indeed severe, my lord. More of the cattle died yesterday for lack of water and green grass. The people themselves are without food. It is only on the table of my lord the king that anything at all remains to eat.
I know, Obadiah. If only we could find Elijah. He has put a curse upon the land. It has been 3 years now, and no downpour has occurred. But Elijah has disappeared from off the surface of the ground.
We have searched in every nation according to the word of my lord the king, but no one has seen or heard of Elijah's whereabouts.
May he perish with his bad deeds, even as the whole land is perishing because of his word. But now go through the land to all the springs of water and to all the torrent valleys. Perhaps we may find green grass, that we may preserve the horses and mules alive and may not have any more of the beasts cut off. You go down this valley and up through the hills toward the setting of the sun, and I, for my part, will pass over through the cleft in the rocks there, and on around toward the foot of the mountain, and we shall meet there.
It is well, my lord. Even as you say, it shall be done. Is this you, my lord Elijah?
It is I. Go, say to your lord, here is Elijah.
Oh, what sin have I committed that you should be putting your servant into the hand of Ahab to put me to death? As Jehovah your God is living, there is not a nation or kingdom where my Lord has not sent to look for you. After they had said, He is not here, He made the kingdom and the nation swear that they could not find you. And now you are saying, Go, say to your Lord, here is Elijah. And it is bound to occur that when I myself go from you, then the Spirit of Jehovah itself shall carry you away to where I shall not know. And I shall have come to tell Ahab, and he will not find you. And he will be bound to kill me, as your servant himself has feared Jehovah from his youth. Has not my Lord been told what I did when Jezabeel killed the prophets of Jehovah? How I kept some of the prophets of Jehovah hid, 100 men by 50s in a cave, and kept supplying them bread and water. And now you are saying, go, say to your Lord, here is Elijah, and he will be bound to kill me.
As Jehovah of armies before whom I do stand is living, today I shall show myself to him.
As you say, my Lord, so let it be.
Accordingly, Obadiah went off to meet Ahab and told him. And so Ahab went to meet Elijah.
Is this you, the bringer of ostracism upon Israel?
I have not brought ostracism upon Israel, but you and the house of your father have, because you men have left the commandments of Jehovah, and you went following the Baals. Have you not yet come to know that Jehovah is the true God in Israel, and that Baal is powerless before him? Is it not according to the word of Jehovah that I spoke to you, saying, there will occur during these years neither dew nor rain, except at the order of my word?
Why then have you returned to trouble us further?
It is because Jehovah has determined to make yet one more test before you, in order that you men may know that he is the only true God in Israel. And now, collect together all Israel to me at Mount Carmel, and also the 450 prophets of Baal, and the 400 prophets of the sacred pole who are eating at the table of Jezabeel. And Jehovah will make a test by fire before you and all the people. And the priests of Baal, for their part, must call upon the name of their God. And I, for my part, shall call upon the name of Jehovah. And it must occur that the true God that answers by fire is the true God.
It is good. It shall be done.
And Ahab proceeded to send among all the sons of Israel and collect the prophets together at Mount Carmel. And afterwards, at the conclusion of the matter, Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done.
It is my lord the king entering the courtyard, my lady, and just in time to escape the downpour.
I know it, you little fool. Don't I have ears of my own? And I can look outside, too, if I care to. But don't stand there like one of the stupid women. Run! Bring wine and bread. The king will be hot and thirsty after his long ride from Mount Carmel.
At once, my lady.
The downpour has begun. The drought is ended.
You are the wisest of all men, O king. And have you returned all the way from Mount Carmel in the great test by fire just to tell me something that I already know? And how did it go with my lord?
Just as I expected.
Then Elijah was shown to be the fool.
On the contrary, it proved to be...
What do you mean, then, just as you expected? It is you who are the fool. Speak. Tell me what happened.
That is just what I was trying to do. As you know, I proceeded to send among all the sons of Israel and collected the prophets together on Mount Carmel. There we were. And then Elijah approached all the people and said, "How long will you be limping upon two different opinions? If Jehovah is the true God, go following him. But if Baal is, go following him." And the people did not say a word in answer to him. And Elijah went on to say to the people, "I myself have been left as a prophet of Jehovah, I alone, while the prophets of Baal are 450 men. Now let them give us 2 young bulls, and let them choose for themselves 1 young bull, and cut it in pieces, and put it upon the wood, but they should not put fire to it. And I myself shall dress the other young bull, and I must place it upon the wood, but I shall not put fire to it. And you must call upon the name of your God, and I for my part shall call upon the name of Jehovah. And it must occur that the true God that answers by fire is the true God." To this all the people answered and said, "The thing is good."
You are a fool, Ahab. Here it is that Elijah put himself in your hand, and what did you do? Kill him as he deserves, even as I said that he must die? No, and not only did you let him go, but you allowed him to dictate to you. You, Ahab, king of Israel, the very terms by which he would make you out to be the fool. But why do you stand there gaping? Get on with your story.
Elijah now said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose for yourselves 1 young bull, and dress it first, because you are the majority, and call upon the name of your God, but you must not put fire to it." Accordingly, they took the young bull that he gave them. Then they dressed it, and they kept calling upon the name of Baal from morning till noon, saying, "O Baal, answer us." But there was no voice, and there was no one answering.
The fools. I'm surrounded by fools.
And they kept limping around the altar that they had made. And it came about at noon that Elijah began to mock them and say, "Call at the top of your voice, for he is a god, for he must be concerned with the matter. And he has excrement and has to go to the privy. Or maybe he's asleep and ought to wake up."
If Elijah were to walk into my hands.
And they began calling at the top of their voices and cutting themselves according to their custom with daggers and with lances until they caused blood to flow out upon them. And it came about that as soon as noon was past, and they continued behaving as prophets until the going up of the grain offering, there was no voice, there was no one answering, there was no paying of attention.
The blundering idiots! Like the stupid ones they are. I'll dismiss them all and acquire priests who are able to perform their duties. Zadok! Zadok, you fool! Why don't you answer when I call?
Excuse me, please, my lady, but Zadok has not yet returned from Mount Carmel.
Speak when you're called, you daughter of a rebellious slave! Now get out!
Perhaps you should listen to the rest, Jezebel. There's more.
Then get on with it, and come to the point.
As you say, Jezebel. At length, Elijah said to all the people, "Approach me." So all the people approached him. Then he proceeded to mend the altar of Jehovah that was torn down. So Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom Jehovah's word had come, saying, "Israel is what your name will become." And he went on to build the stones into an altar in the name of Jehovah, and to make a trench of about the area sowed with 2 seah measures of seed all around the altar.
A stupid thing, a trench around an altar.
After that, he put the pieces of wood in order, and he cut the young bull in pieces and placed it upon the pieces of wood. He now said, "Fill 4 large jars with water, and pour it upon the burnt offering and upon the pieces of wood."
It must be some trick.
Then he said, "Do it again." So they did it again. But he said, "Do it a 3rd time." And so they did it a 3rd time. Thus the water went all around the altar, and the trench also he filled with water.
A showy magical trick.
And it came about at the time that the grain offering goes up, that Elijah the prophet began to approach and say, "O Jehovah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, today let it be known that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and it is by your word that I have done all these things. Answer me, O Jehovah, answer me, that this people may know that you, Jehovah, are the true God, and you yourself have turned their heart back.
What happened?
At that, the fire of Jehovah came falling and went eating up the burnt offering and the pieces of wood and the stones and the dust, and the water that was in the trench, it licked up.
A trick of magic.
When all the people saw it, they immediately fell upon their faces and said, Jehovah is the true God! Jehovah is the true God!
Stupid people.
Elijah
Follow like
said
fools.
to them, Seize the prophets of Baal.
Seize the...
Do not let a single one of them escape. At once they seized them, and Elijah then brought them down to the torrent valley of Kishon and slaughtered them there.
Slaughtered them? Slaughtered them?
Slaughtered them. All 450 of them. Then Elijah said to me, Go up, eat and drink, for there is the sound of the turmoil of a downpour. So I did. Then Elijah sent to me and said further, Hitch up and go down, that the downpour may not detain you. And so I kept riding and made my way here to Jezreel, and the downpour has begun. The drought is ended, according to the word of Elijah.
Slaughtered. Elijah has done this thing. Elijah has defied me and humiliated me in front of all the people of Israel. It is Elijah that has slaughtered my priests. 450 of them. Send to Elijah and say this. So may the gods do, and so may they add to it, if at this time tomorrow I shall not make your soul like the soul of each one of them.
And Elijah became afraid. Consequently, he rose up and began to go for his soul, and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah. Then he left his attendant behind there, and he himself went into the wilderness a day's journey, and at length came and sat down under a certain broom tree.
What is it that Jehovah would have me do? Here I have come this long way and have not yet encountered him, except as he appeared to me through his angel a day's journey out of Beersheba in the wilderness. There it was, I came and sat down under a certain broom tree, and I began to ask that my soul might die, and to say, It is enough. Now, O Jehovah, take my soul away, for I am no better than my forefathers. But there was no answer. So finally I lay down and fell asleep under the broom tree. But look, now an angel was touching me. Then he said to me, Rise up, eat. And when I looked, why, there at my head was a round cake upon heated stones and a jug of water. And I began to eat and drink, after which I lay down again. Later, the angel of Jehovah came back a second time and touched me and said, Rise up, eat, for the journey is too much for you. So I rose up and ate and drank. And I kept going in the power of that nourishment for 40 days and 40 nights, as far as here, the mountain of the true God, Horeb. Now, what is it that Jehovah would have me do? Surely he has forgiven me for fleeing in fear from Jezabeel. Otherwise, why would he have sent his angel to keep me alive and lead me here, to this mountain? The mountain where he communed with Moses, and where he later revealed himself to all Israel in a heavy cloud and tempest, when the mountain trembled and smoked all over, due to the fact that Jehovah came down upon it in fire. Is it in this place to which I have been led that I am to have an encounter with Jehovah? But see now, let me enter into this cave that I might spend the night here.
What is your business here, Elijah?
I have been absolutely jealous for Jehovah, the God of armies. For the sons of Israel have left your covenant. Your altars they have torn down, and your prophets they have killed with the sword, so that I only am left. And they begin looking for my soul to take it away.
Go out, and you must stand on the mountain before Jehovah.
Now, indeed, it must be that Jehovah will reveal himself to me.
Jehovah was not in the wind. Jehovah was not in the quaking. Jehovah was not in the fire.
Elijah, come out and stand at the entrance of the cave. What is your business here, Elijah?
I have been absolutely jealous for Jehovah, the God of armies. For the sons of Israel have left your covenant. Your altars they have torn down, and your prophets they have killed with the sword, so that I only am left, and they begin looking for my soul to take it away.
Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus, and you must come in and anoint Hazael as king over Syria. And Jehu, the grandson of Nimshi, you should anoint as king over Israel. And Elisha, the son of Shaphat from Abel-Meholah, you should anoint as prophet in place of you. And it must occur that the one escaping from Hazael's sword, Jehu will put to death, and the one escaping from Jehu's sword, Elisha will put to death. And I have let 7,000 remain in Israel, all the knees that have not bent down to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him.
Even so, it shall be done.
Accordingly he went from there and found Elisha the son of Shaphat and threw his official garment upon him. At that Elisha went following Elijah and began to minister to him. As for Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, he collected all his military forces together, and also 32 kings with him, and horses and chariots. And he proceeded to go up and lay siege to Samaria and to fight against it. But Ahab, the king of Israel, went out and kept striking down the horses and the chariots. And he struck down the Syrians with a great slaughter. And it came about at the return of the year that Ben-Hadad proceeded to muster the Syrians and to go up to Aphek for battle against Israel.
How does it go with the military forces of the sons of Israel?
It goes the same as it did before, when Ben-Hadad came up and laid siege against Samaria.
Then the Syrians are fleeing as at the first. But why is it, Micaiah, that Ben-Hadad encamped at Aphek this time in the valley and didn't come into the mountains of Samaria?
It's because the servants of Ben-Hadad said to him after they were struck down at Samaria, "The God of Israel is a God of mountains." That is why they proved stronger than we were. So, on the other hand, let us fight against them on the level land and see whether we shall not prove stronger than they are.
That's because they don't know the true God.
But when the sons of Israel were mustered and supplied, they went into camp in front of the Syrians like 2 tiny flocks of goats, while the Syrians for their part filled the earth. Nevertheless, Jehovah sent me to the king of Israel to say, "This is what Jehovah has said. For the reason that the Syrians have said, 'Jehovah is a God of mountains, and he is not a God of low plains,' I shall have to give all this great crowd into your hand, and you men will certainly know that I am Jehovah."
Isn't that the same message that you delivered to Ahab the first time?
The 2 messages are one. But the first time, when Syria was put to flight, Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, got to escape upon a horse, together with the horsemen.
This time, however, he is certain to be taken according to the word of Jehovah.
The matter rests with Ahab. Jehovah has spoken the word, but when has Ahab inclined his ear toward the true God, or sought to obey his voice?
Here comes Sheshan, one of the chiefs. Perhaps he has word. How does it go with the sons of Israel, my lord?
The Syrians were routed.
Did all of the great crowd of Syria come into Ahab's hand?
It went this way. On the 7th day, the engagement in battle began, and the sons of Israel began to strike down each one his man, and they went striking down the Syrians. 100,000 men on foot in one day. And those that were left went fleeing to Aphek, to the city. And the wall came falling down upon 27,000 men that were left.
27,000?
As for Ben-Hadad, he fled and finally came into the city, into the innermost chamber.
Oh, then he escaped out of Ahab's hand again.
No. The servants of Ben-Hadad said to him, "Hear now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are kings of loving kindness. Please, let us carry sackcloth upon our loins and ropes upon our heads, and let us go out to the king of Israel. Perhaps he will preserve your soul alive." And they prevailed upon him.
And so he did come into Ahab's hand.
But Ahab said, "He is my brother." And he took him up into his chariot and concluded a covenant with him and sent him away.
Oh! As if it were a trivial thing to marry a Baal-worshipping Sidonian. Now he would get under a yoke with the Syrian enemy of God. Is he so foolish as to think God does not see or take account? Here, my brother, the word of Jehovah has come to me. Strike me, please.
No, I cannot.
It is the word of Jehovah. Strike me, please.
Don't ask me to do this thing. for I cannot strike you.
Then hear this. For the reason that you did not listen to the voice of Jehovah, here you are going away from me, and a lion will certainly strike you down.
Oh!
Micaiah, may you have peace.
Peace to you too, my brother. The word of Jehovah has come to me. Strike me, please, my brother.
Huh? Only at the word of Jehovah will it be done.
Oh.
Are you all right, my brother?
It is well. Go now. I must wait here until the king of Israel passes by.
As you say, my brother. But look, I see the king coming now.
Go at once, then, lest he recognize you and know who I really am. O king, hear, please, my case for judgment.
Speak your case.
Your servant himself went out into the thick of the battle. And look, a man was leaving the line, and he came bringing a man to me, and then said, guard this man. If he should in any way be missing, your soul will also have to take the place of his soul, or else a talent of silver you will weigh out. And it came about that as your servant was active here and there, why, he himself was gone.
Thus your own judgment is. You yourself have decided. See now, is this one not from among the prophets?
He is, my lord. He is Micaiah, a prophet of the true God.
Why is it then that you have spoken to me like this?
Inasmuch as the word of Jehovah has come to you these 2 times, saying, here I am giving all this great crowd into your hand today. And inasmuch as you have shown preference to Jehovah's enemy, and have in fact entered into an unequal yoke with this one devoted to destruction by making a covenant with him, therefore this is what Jehovah has said. For the reason that you have let go out of your hand the man devoted to me for destruction, your soul must take the place of his soul, and your people the place of his people.
At that the king of Israel went on his way toward his house, sullen and dejected, and came to Samaria. And it came about after these things that there was a vineyard that happened to belong to Naboth the Jezreelite, which was in Jezreel, beside the palace of Ahab, the king of Samaria.
Why is it that your spirit is sad, and you're not eating bread? Servants have reported to me that you neither eat nor drink, and that you lie here on your side and refuse to speak to anyone. What is it that's troubling, my lord? Is it because of the words of that prophet who emboldened himself to speak against the king, saying, your soul must take the place of Ben-Hadad's soul?
It's because Naboth, the Jezreelite, has this vineyard.
A vineyard? And what of this vineyard?
It's one that's desirable to me. I want it.
And you're lying here sullen and dejected over a vineyard? If it's desirable to you, why don't you rise up and take possession of the vineyard and end the matter?
It's not that way in Israel. I spoke to Naboth, saying, do give me your vineyard, that it may serve as a garden of vegetables to me, for it is close by my house, and let me give you in place of it a vineyard better than it. Or,
you mean,
if it is good in your eyes, I'll give you money as a price of this.
You offered to pay for it? Why, then, did he not?
Naboth said to me, it is unthinkable on my part, from Jehovah's standpoint, for me to give the hereditary possession of my forefathers to you.
And what of the hereditary possession of his forefathers?
When Jehovah gave the law to Israel through Moses, he had it written into the law, and Naboth quoted it to me. So the land shall not be sold in perpetuity. And in all the land of your possession, you should grant to the land the right of buying back. But if his hand does not find enough to give back to him, what he sold must also continue in the hand of its purchaser until the Jubilee year, and it must go out in the Jubilee, and he must return to his possession. So it is that Naboth has said to me, I shall not give you the hereditary possession of my forefathers.
You fool! Is it you that now exercise the kingship over Israel? Rise up, eat bread, and let your heart be merry. I myself shall give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite.
And how do you propose to do it?
Let it not concern my lord. Go, do as I say. Eat bread, and let your heart be merry.
So let it be.
Maacah!
You called, my lady?
Run and fetch Zadok for me, quickly. Go.
At once, my lady.
Let me see. What should I say? There must be no question. It must be complete, and there can be no...
You sent for me, my lady?
Yes, Zadok, sit here at the table. I would have you write letters for me. You'll write letters to all the older men and the nobles in the city dwelling with Naboth. And this is what you will write in the letters. Proclaim a fast. Have Naboth sit at the head of the people, and make 2 men, good for nothing fellows, sit in front of him, and let them bear witness against him, saying, You have cursed God and the king. And bring him out and stone him, that he may die.
My lady?
Yes, Zadok?
This is to be written just as you have said it?
I told you to write them, did I not?
Yes, my lady, but...
Are you not a court official?
Yes, my lady, and I have...
These letters are to be written in the name of Ahab. Is that not sufficient for you?
As you say, my lady, but...
Then they are to be sealed with the king's seal.
The king's own seal, my lady?
Are you deaf, Zadok? You have the king's seal, do you not? Is it not in your possession to use as directed?
Yes, it is, my lady.
Then use it! Why do you hesitate? Do I need to explain to you all the king's business? Is it not sufficient for you that I say to you, write in Ahab's name?
Very well, my lady.
Go then. Write them at once and see that they are delivered immediately. Do you understand? Immediately.
Yes, my lady.
And Jehovah's word came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Rise up, go down to meet Ahab, the king of Israel, who is in Samaria. There he is in the vineyard of Naboth, where he has gone down to take possession of it.
Is it true, Zadok, that Naboth was brought before the elders, charged by the king himself with blasphemy and sedition?
It isn't wise to speak of such matters, especially when almost within hearing of the king.
But when Naboth and his sons were all stoned to death, Jaazaniah, one of the elders of the city, said they had no choice in the matter, that they had received letters bearing the king's own seal, accusing him.
What Jaazaniah has said, he has said.
But you're an official of the court, and the official seal of Ahab
Would
is
you
in
have Zadok also speak against the king? And put his life in danger?
Nevertheless, Naboth was a good man who kept all the law of Israel. I can't believe...
Bidkar, you are an honest man, fearless in battle, and ride chariot alongside Jehu behind the king himself. But there are matters of court that, well, it isn't wise or discreet, or in the interests of the king, to speak so freely. There are those who would not hesitate to,
Jezabeel. She wears the crown. A Sidonian...
Enough, Bidkar. Hold your counsel. It's one thing to think in your heart, But words can be more deadly than a sword, and more dangerous to speak.
Look, Jehu. Is that not Elijah the Tishbite approaching?
It is indeed, Bidkar. It must be an important mission that brings him right next to the palace grounds, putting his life in danger.
What would you do, Jehu, if the king were to demand of us that we take him into custody?
The king will not go so far. Ahab fears Jezebel, but he fears Elijah even more.
Have you found me, O enemy of mine?
I have found you in the tract of land that was Naboth's vineyard. Have you murdered and also taken possession?
Is this how you would speak to the king of Israel? Measure your words carefully, Elijah.
I know only that Naboth and his sons are dead. I offered in good faith to buy the field from Naboth, and he refused to give it for money, or in exchange for a better vineyard. But Naboth is no longer alive. He is dead, and so are his sons, stoned, I am told, on a charge of blasphemy and sedition. Therefore I have come to take possession of the vineyard.
Why is it that you continue to reject the word of the true God? Hear now this word from Jehovah. For the reason that you have sold yourself to do what is bad in the eyes of Jehovah, here I am bringing calamity upon you, and I shall certainly make a clean sweep after you, and cut off from Ahab anyone urinating against a wall, and the helpless and worthless one in Israel. And I shall certainly constitute your house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahijah, for the offense with which you have offended, and then caused Israel to sin. And in the place where the dogs licked up the blood of Naboth, the dogs will lick up your blood, even yours. And also, as regards Jezebel, Jehovah has spoken, saying, the very dogs will eat up Jezebel in the plot of land of Jezreel. Any one of Ahab's that is dying in the city, the dogs will eat up. And anyone dying in the field, the fowls of the heavens will eat up. Without exception, no one has proved to be like Ahab, who sold himself to do what was bad in the eyes of Jehovah, whom Jezebel, his wife, egged on. And he went acting very detestably by going after the dungy idols, the same as all that the Amorites had done, whom Jehovah drove out from before the sons of Israel.
Oh, that Jehovah should bring upon me all this great calamity.
And it came about that Ahab proceeded to rip his garments apart. And he went on a fast and kept lying down in sackcloth and walking despondently. And Jehovah's word came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, for the reason that Ahab has humbled himself because of me, I shall not bring the calamity in his own days. In the days of his son, I shall bring the calamity upon his house. And for 3 years they continued dwelling without war between Syria and Israel. And it came about in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat the king of Judah proceeded to go down to the king of Israel.
As you know, when Ben-Hadad came into my hand in Aphek 3 years ago, I concluded a covenant with him and sent him away. At that time Ben-Hadad said to me, the cities that my father took from your father, I shall return. And streets you will assign to yourself in Damascus, the same as my father assigned in Samaria. And yet, Ramoth-Gilead still lies in the hands of the Syrians.
But from the days of Moses, the city has been ours, even serving as a city of refuge. And it was in Ramoth-Gilead that Solomon appointed a deputy to care for providing food for the king from the cities in Gilead and Bashan.
Do you really know that Ramoth-Gilead belongs to us? Yet we are hesitating to take it out of the hand of the king of Syria.
But it's a strategic city, controlling the entire region east of Jordan. Why, with a garrison in that city, Ben-Hadad can launch an attack against Samaria at will.
Will you go with me to fight at Ramoth-Gilead?
I am the same as you. My people are the same as your people. My horses are the same as your horses.
It is good. We will prepare at once and muster the sons of Israel for the campaign.
But inquire, please, first of all for the word of Jehovah.
Even so. Matana, instruct Zedekiah the son of Kenaanah to speak to the 400 prophets who are collected together and say to them in my name, shall I go against Ramoth-Gilead in war, or shall I refrain?
As you say, my lord.
Jehu!
Here I am, my lord.
See that the men are organized and prepared for the siege of Ramoth-Gilead. If the word of the prophets is favorable, we will enter upon the campaign immediately.
As you say, my lord.
What word do you have from the prophets, Zedekiah? Shall I go up against Ramoth-Gilead in war, or shall I refrain?
The prophets agree, my lord. Go up, and Jehovah will give it into the king's hand. You will certainly prove successful.
Is there not here a prophet of Jehovah still?
There is still one man through whom to inquire of Jehovah.
Then let us inquire through him.
But I myself certainly hate him, for he does not prophesy good things concerning me, but bad. Micaiah, the son of Imlah.
Do not let the king say a thing like that.
Matana, do bring Micaiah, the son of Imlah. Quickly.
At once, my lord.
I know for a certainty that Ben-Hadad does not respect the covenant that I made with him in Aphek, and has determined to see me fall in battle. For this reason, when we go out against the Syrians, there will be a disguising and entering into the battle for me. But you, for your part, put on your garments.
It is good.
In this way, it will not be known that I am in their midst, or where I am fighting. And in this way, we can defeat the king of Syria, and I will escape with my life.
It shall be done, just as you say.
Yes, Zedekiah? You have more to say?
This is what Jehovah has said. With these, you will push the Syrians till you exterminate them. And all the other prophets are prophesying the same as this, saying, go up to Ramoth-Gilead and prove successful, and Jehovah will give it into the king's hand.
Look now, the words of the prophets are unanimously of good to the king. Let your word, please, become like the word of one of them, and you must speak good.
As Jehovah is living, what Jehovah will say to me, that is what I shall speak.
Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth-Gilead in war, or shall we refrain?
Go up, prove successful, and Jehovah will certainly give it into the king's hand.
For how many times am I putting you under oath that you should not speak to me anything but truth in the name of Jehovah?
You have said it, my lord. I certainly see all the Israelites scattered on the mountains, like sheep that have no shepherd. And Jehovah went on to say, these have no masters. Let them go back, each one to his house in peace.
Did I not say to you, Jehoshaphat? He will prophesy concerning me not good things, but bad.
Therefore, hear the word of Jehovah. I certainly see Jehovah sitting upon his throne, and all the army of the heavens standing by him, to his right and to his left. And Jehovah proceeded to say, who will fool Ahab, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth-Gilead? And this one began to say something like this, while that one was saying something like that. Finally, a spirit came out and stood before Jehovah and said, I myself shall fool him. At that Jehovah said to him, by what means? To this he said, I shall go forth, and I shall certainly become a deceptive spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. So Jehovah said, you will fool him, And what is more, you will come off the winner. Go out and do that way. And now here Jehovah has put a deceptive spirit into the mouth of all these prophets of yours. But Jehovah himself has spoken calamity concerning you. And the word of Jehovah that he spoke through Elijah the Tishbite concerning you in the tract of land that belonged to Naboth is certain to be carried out.
In just which way did the Spirit of Jehovah pass along from me to speak with you?
Look, you are seeing which way on that day when you will enter into the innermost chamber to hide yourself.
Take Micaiah and turn him back to Amon the chief of the city and to Joash the king's son. And you must say, this is what the king has said. Put this fellow in the house of detention and feed him with a reduced allowance of bread and a reduced allowance of water until I come in peace.
If you return at all in peace, Jehovah has not spoken with me. Hear, all you peoples!
Accordingly, Ahab the king of Israel disguised himself and entered into the battle. And there was a man that bent the bow in his innocence, but he got to strike the king of Israel between the appendages and the coat of mail. And the king himself had to be kept in a standing position in the chariot facing the Syrians. And gradually he died in the evening. And the blood of the wound kept pouring out upon the interior of the war chariot. Thus the king died. When he was brought to Samaria, then they buried the king in Samaria. And they began to wash off the war chariot by the pool of Samaria, and the dogs went licking up his blood, according to Jehovah's word that he had spoken. And it came about that the time came when Jehovah was to take Elijah up to the heavens. All the while Elisha was seeing it. After that he picked up the official garment of Elijah that had fallen off him and went back, for the spirit of Elijah had settled down upon Elisha. Some time later, Elisha the prophet for his part called one of the sons of the prophets and then said to him, "Gird up your loins and take this flask of oil in your hand and go to Ramoth-Gilead. When you have come in there, see Jehu, the son of Nimshi, there."
Jehoram's wounds will heal in time. It was not fatally that he was struck.
He isn't needed here in Ramoth-Gilead anyway. Hazael's defeat was complete.
Do you think the king of Syria will attack soon again, Jehu?
Not soon. Our position in Ramoth-Gilead is secure now, for some time.
Ben-Hadad was a man of war. But this successor of his, Hazael, he's a violent and ambitious man.
And yet I understand that Elisha himself anointed him as king of Syria. Do you believe that is so, Jehu?
You would believe a bird that flew into the window.
But what right does a man of God have anointing a king of Syria?
It was a commission received by Elijah from Jehovah himself. Elisha fulfilled that commission as his successor. However, he did not anoint Hazael with oil.
What do you mean?
Well, when Hazael went to Elisha to inquire as to Ben-Hadad's recovery from illness, Elisha simply told him, "Ben-Hadad will recover, but he will die. Jehovah has shown me you as king over Syria."
But that's what prompted Hazael to kill Ben-Hadad. He wet a coverlet and put it over Ben-Hadad's face so that he smothered.
You're right, Shishan. And Hazael became king in his place. What about that, Jehu?
This sin cannot be laid to Elisha. It was Hazael's own ambition that prompted it. But it's just that Ben-Hadad died. Did he not demonstrate a treacherous heart toward Ahab?
What do you mean, Jehu?
Well, after Ahab showed him extraordinary loving kindness in making a covenant with him and letting him go when he came into his hand at Aphek.
But what was his treachery?
Well, he determined to kill Ahab. That's the way he'd repay his loving kindness. As you'll recall, Jehoshaphat joined with Ahab in his campaign to regain this city, Ramoth-Gilead, from the hand of Ben-Hadad. And in that encounter, Ben-Hadad ordered the 32 chiefs of the chariots to fight with no one but Ahab.
And it was Jehoshaphat they went after instead. He nearly lost his life in that encounter. I remember.
That's right, because Ahab disguised himself, but Jehoshaphat had not.
And all because of Ben-Hadad's treacherous determination to annihilate Ahab.
Well, that's partly true, Bidkar, but Jehoshaphat nearly paid with his life for the reason of being unequally yoked with the Baal-worshipping Ahab.
What was a man like Jehoshaphat, a true worshiper of Jehovah, doing fighting alongside a man like Ahab anyway?
Perhaps Jehoshaphat thought he could unite the two kingdoms. Did he not make a marriage alliance with the house of Ahab by marrying his own son to Athaliah, the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel?
That's your guess, Shishan. You don't know why Jehoshaphat made a covenant with Ahab.
Whatever his reason, and however well motivated it may have been on his part, Jehovah condemned it, and it nearly cost Jehoshaphat his life. Jehovah sent his prophet to Jehoshaphat and said, "Is it to the wicked that help is to be given? And is it for those hating Jehovah that you should have love? And for this there is indignation against you from the person of Jehovah. Nevertheless, there are good things that have been found with you, because you have cleared out the sacred poles from the land, and you have prepared your heart to search for the true God. Had Jehovah not shown him mercy, he would have died that day along with Ahab."
Ahab's end was certain. Elijah spoke well when he said the offensiveness with which Ahab offended Jehovah was greater than any who preceded him, and the judgment Elijah pronounced against him from the mouth of Jehovah was fulfilled.
But didn't you tell me that, according to Elijah's judgment message, all Ahab's house was to be annihilated? And that even Jezebel was to be eaten by the dogs? How many years have passed since Elijah spoke this prophecy to Ahab?
But Ahab did die, and the dogs did lick up his blood, according to Jehovah's word.
True, but it's been 14 years since Ahab died, and nothing else has happened. And El-Jehoram, the son of Ahab, rules in Samaria. And Ahaziah, the son of Athaliah, Ahab's daughter, has ruled in Judah for a year. Where is the prophecy of Jehovah?
Don't speak lightly of the prophecy or the judgment of Jehovah. And don't deceive yourself into thinking that Jehovah has forgotten.
Jehovah's word is certain to be carried out.
Look, who is this one approaching?
There is a word I have for you, O chief.
For which one of all of us?
For you, O chief.
Come into the house.
This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, has said. I do anoint you as king over Jehovah's people, that is, over Israel. And you must strike down the house of Ahab your lord, and I must avenge the blood of my servants the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of Jehovah at the hand of Jezebel. And the whole house of Ahab must perish, and I must cut off from Ahab anyone urinating against a wall, and any helpless and worthless one in Israel. And I must constitute the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah. And Jezebel the dogs will eat up in the tract of land at Jezreel, and there will be no one burying her.
Is everything all right?
Why did this crazy man come into you?
You yourselves well know the man and his sort of talk.
It's false. Tell us, please.
What did the man say?
Oh, it was like this and like that he talked to me, saying, "This is what Jehovah has said. I do anoint you as king over Israel."
Blow the horn, Shishan! Jehu has become king!
Jehu has become king!
Jehu now said, "If your soul agrees, do not let anyone go out and escape from the city to go and make report in Jezreel." And Jehu began to ride and go to Jezreel, for Jehoram was lying there. And Ahaziah the king of Judah himself had gone down to see Jehoram.
It's good to see that your wounds are healing so well, Jehoram.
I'll soon be ready for another encounter with Hazael, king of Syria. I'll not rest until I've pushed him back into Syria for all time to come.
There
J-Duck,
You called, my lord?
you heard the watchman?
Yes, my lord.
Take a cavalryman and send him to meet them, and let him say, "Is there peace?"
At once, my lord.
What does this mean, Jehoram? And who would the heaving mass be?
I cannot know. That's why I've sent a cavalryman to meet them.
Could it be Hazael?
It's very unlikely. I left Jehu with a garrison of men at Ramoth Gilead. Jehu is a good man. He wouldn't let Hazael through.
The messenger came as far as to them, but he has not returned.
J-Duck,
Yes, my lord.
send a second rider on the horse and let him say, "Is there peace?"
At once, my lord.
Can you make out anything, Jehoram?
Only the dust from this distance, but the horseman approaches quickly.
He came as far as to them, but he has not returned. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu, the grandson of Nimshi, for it is with madness that he drives.
J-Duck, Matana, hitch up!
And my war chariot also.
Jehu rides so furiously. Something is not right. I will see to it myself. Why has he left Ramoth Gilead? I must find out at once. Matana, come up here and bring J-Duck, that you may stay with Jezabeel until I return.
As you say, my lord.
What is it, J-Duck? Can you hear and see what's happening?
A little, my lady.
Well, speak. What is it you hear, and what do you see?
Well, the two kings got to find Jehu in the tract of land of Naboth the Jezreelite. And I heard Jehoram call out, "Is there peace, Jehu?"
Well, could you hear Jehu's reply?
Only partly, my lady.
Well, what did he say, partly? Speak!
He said, "What peace could there be as long as there are,
As long as there are what, J-Duck? Speak up, you fool! What's going on out there?
He said, as long as there are the fornications of Jezebel, your mother, and her many sorceries."
It's treason! I can't see. There are only figures in the distance. What did Jehoram reply?
He called out to Ahaziah, "There's trickery, Ahaziah!" And they both turned to flee. But Jehu himself filled his hand with a bow and proceeded to shoot Jehoram between the arms, so that the arrow came out at his heart, and he collapsed in his war chariot.
Treason! Treachery! Jehu must die for this. Here, fix my hair and paint my eyes. I would welcome Jehu.
At once, my lady.
What's happened now? Jehu said to Bidkar, "Lift him up. Throw him into the tract of the field of Naboth the Jezreelite." Then he said something I couldn't quite make out about he and Bidkar riding teams behind Ahab, Jehoram's father, and how Jehovah himself lifted up a pronouncement against Ahab. I'm sure he was referring to the occasion when Elijah spoke out boldly against Ahab in the tract of land that belonged to Naboth. We were there, remember, and heard him ourselves say, "Certainly the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons I saw yesterday, and I shall certainly repay you in this tract of land," is the utterance of Jehovah.
That must be what he meant. But did Jehu say anything else just now?
Yes, he went on to say, "So now lift him up, throw him into the tract of land, according to the word of Jehovah."
Look, Jehu is approaching the courtyard.
Did it go all right with Zimri, the killer of his lord?
Who is with me? Who? Let her drop!
Treason! Treachery! May the gods repay you! You'll die for this!
hungry and thirsty. Here is wine and bread.
This day has been a long time in arriving. But until today, I was not sure of you, Matana.
As I served Ahab and Jehoram, so I shall serve Jehu. Jehu has been anointed king.
And I'll not rest until all of Jehovah's word against Ahab's house has been fulfilled. But come now, Zadok. Take care of this accursed one and bury her, for she's the daughter of a king.
It shall be done.
Do you really know that Jehovah has commissioned me to strike down the house of Ahab, and to avenge the blood of his servants the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of Jehovah at the hand of Jezebel?
It is good. We have really waited for this day, ever since Jehovah spoke to Ahab by means of Elijah the Tishbite.
Then you'll see my zeal for no rivalry toward Jehovah.
There are others, too, who...
It's too late, my lord. Bidkar has just told us what's happened, and when we went to bury her, we did not find anything of her but the skull and the feet and the palms of the hands.
It is the word of Jehovah that he spoke by means of his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, "In the tract of land of Jezreel, the dogs will eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the dead body of Jezebel will certainly become as manure upon the face of the field in the tract of land of Jezreel, that they may not say, 'This is Jezebel.' And so the word of Jehovah will always prove to be true."
Moreover, Jehu went on to strike down all who were left over of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, and all his distinguished men and his acquaintances and his priests, until he had let no survivors of his remain. Further, they pulled down the sacred pillar of Baal, and pulled down the house of Baal, and they kept it set aside for privies. Thus Jehu annihilated Baal out of Israel.